Hi everyone, I'm Dudu from Susan's family. Today I'd like to introduce you to a new design, the Chinese Aesthetics series Floral Farewell Cardigan. This cardigan is divided into the back piece, the front piece, joining together, cuffs, overall front band and decorations. Start by crocheting the back piece, the left and right front pieces separately. Then join the back piece with the left and right front pieces at the corresponding positions. Move on to crocheting the cuffs. After completing that, crochet the overall front band. Finally, crochet the decorations and attach them. The garment comes in multiple sizes. The crocheting method is roughly the same, only the row numbers and stitch counts are different. This product is crocheted using 2 strands of yarn. That means taking 2 yarn tails and working them as 1 strand. If one type of yarn only has 1 skein, you can take 1 strand from the inside of the skein and 1 from the outside, then work them as 1 strand. To make it clear to see, I will demonstrate later with 1 strand of cotton yarn, and the colors will be random. In the following tutorial, 1 strand represents 2 actual strands. For specific yarn details, you can refer to the detail page of our product or the paper instructions. Let's start learning the back piece. It is divided into the body, chest piece, collar and shoulders. Start with crocheting the body. We will start from foundation chain and work back and forth. Several stitches will be applicated, all of which are marked in the chart, so I won't go through each one individually. Now, watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with a chain. First, make a slip knot. Slightly tighten it. Then start crocheting the chains. Be mindful not to crochet too tight. The sample has fewer stitches. Refer to the pattern for the exact number of stitches. After completing, check the foundation chain count. That's how you finish casting on. Next, work on the first row. Read the chart from right to left. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet. Then go back to the 7th to last stitch. Pick up its top loop to work a DC 2-in-1. That means working 2 double crochets in the same position. This completes the DC 2-in-1, then work 3 chains. Work another DC 2-in-1 in the same stitch. We will treat what we crochet in the same position as 1 double crochet pattern. Then skip 2 chains. Work a double crochet on the 3rd chain. Then skip another 2 chains. Work a double crochet pattern on the next chain. That means working 2 double crochets in the same position. Chain 3 as a transition. For this row, always skip 2 chains. Then alternate crocheting double crochets and double crochet patterns. Continue crocheting following this method. Finally, work a double crochet on the first chain. Row 1 is complete. We will treat the right side of the first row as the right side of the entire piece. That is, this side where the starting yarn tail is on the left hand. Now let's start row 2. Refer to the chart from left to right. Make 3 chains as the turning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet and corresponds to the stitch below. Turn the work. Then make 2 more chains. Then work a single crochet in the chain space of the previous row's double crochet pattern. Work 2 chains. Then work a DC2 bobble into the double crochet stitch. For short, bobble stitch, pay attention, after turning, the stitch is located at the top left. First, work an unclosed double crochet, yarn over. Insert the hook into the double crochet stitch, pull through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. An unclosed double crochet is now done. Next, work another unclosed double crochet in the same position. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on your hook at once. A bobble stitch is now completed. We consider everything after the beginning chain as one group. Now continue with another group. Work 2 chains. Then work a single crochet into the chain space of the double crochet pattern. Work 2 more chains. Work a bobble stitch on the double crochet. The second group is now completed. Continue referring to the pattern and finish the last single crochet. After completing the last single crochet, work 2 chains. In the third chain of the beginning chain, pick up 2 strands and work a double crochet. This completes the second row. Now move on to the third row. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Turn the work. Skip the chain space below. Work a double crochet pattern on the left single crochet. After completing, skip the chain space on the left. Work a double crochet on the left bobble stitch. This row involves working a double crochet patterns on the single crochets from the previous row. Work a double crochet on the bobble stitch. Everyone complete this row using this method. Finish with a double crochet on the third chain of the beginning chain. This completes the third row. For the remaining rows of the body, follow the pattern of the second and third rows. Work the corresponding number of rows. After crocheting to the 7th row, refer to the pattern and measure the dimension. If the size differs significantly, you need to adjust your tension and recrochet a few rows. Pay attention, as you need to increase stitches on both sides near the ending of the body. Specifically, refer to the pattern for crocheting. After finishing the last row of bobble stitches, and the sample reaches the corresponding position, crochet 2 chains. Work a double crochet into the turning chain. Then, make 1 chain. Next, in the same stitch, work a treble crochet. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook and draw through. At this point, there are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this process 3 times. And the treble crochet is completed. Then, make 1 chain to secure it. Leave a 5 cm tail and cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail inside the fabric. That concludes the explanation of the body section. Next, we'll learn how to make the chest piece. The chest piece requires starting a new set of foundation chains. Continue crocheting back and forth based on the body section. The new stitches used here include DC2 tog and DC3 in 1. Now, let's show. First, take the same color yarn. Then, make a corresponding number of chains. After completing, crochet 1 treble crochet on the wrong side at the fasten-off point. I'll demonstrate it again. Yarn over twice, insert into the treble crochet stitch. Draw through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops 3 times. Another treble crochet is completed. Crochet 1 chain. Then, work 1 double crochet in the chain space on the left side. After that, continue to refer to the pattern and complete the last double crochet. After completing the last double crochet, crochet 1 more chain. Then, on the 4th chain of the turning chain from the previous row, work 1 treble crochet. Continue crocheting the corresponding number of chains. That completes the first row. Start working on the second row. When you encounter a chain, follow the method used in the first row of the body, and crochet by picking up the half loop on top of the chain. Pay attention to working 1 double crochet between the bobble stitches. After that, continue referring to the pattern until you finish the last double crochet of the third row. the sample has reached the corresponding position. First, work a DC 2 in 1. Then, crochet 3 chains. Next, work a DC 2 tog. In the same stitch, start with an unclosed double crochet. Then, work an unclosed double crochet on the third chain of the turning chain. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. That completes one DC2 tog. At the same time, row 3 is also complete for rows 4 through 17. Continue to follow the pattern as demonstrated before. Pay attention to the stitch patterns at the ends of some even rows. These need to be crocheted into the stitch next to the turning chain. Every one, after you finish the last double crochet of row 17. At the end of row 17, work a DC3 in 1 into the turning chain of the previous row. I'll demonstrate this stitch technique with a sample. It means crocheting 3 double crochets into the same stitch. That completes the DC3 in 1. For the remaining rows, continue to follow the pattern. Pay attention to the stitch patterns on both sides, and crochet according to the pattern. After completing the last row, do not fasten off the yarn. That concludes the chest piece. Next, we'll learn about the collar and shoulders. Start by crocheting back and forth on the completed chest piece. Then, work the right shoulder and left shoulder separately. Note that the left and right here refer to the actual left and right when wearing it. The new stitches include half double crochet and slip stitch. Below, I will demonstrate using the small size as an example. For other sizes, you can learn the method first, then follow the pattern for crocheting. Now, let's show. Start crocheting row 1. Chain 3 first. Turn your work. Then skip the space below formed by 2 chains. Work a single crochet into the left single crochet stitch. Chain 2. Work 1 half double crochet into the left bobble stitch. Chain 2 again. Work 1 half double crochet into the next single crochet. Chain 2 again. For medium and large sizes, you will encounter HDC2 in 1 in this row. I'll demonstrate this stitch technique using this sample. It means to work 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. This completes the HDC2 in 1. For the remaining part, please follow your respective pattern to work until the end. Finally, work a slip stitch into the beginning chain of the previous row. Tighten it. That's how you complete the first row. Now let's carry the yarn across. Stretch the loop. Pass the yarn ball or fabric through the loop. Pull the tail tight. That completes carrying the yarn. Now move on to the second row. Locate the beginning position. Hook the yarn out from the wrong side. Pay attention to keeping the carried yarn close to the fabric. Then work 3 chains. Work a single crochet into the chain space on the left side. Work 2 more chains. Skip the next 2 double crochets on the left. Work a single crochet into the lone double crochet on the left. Work 2 more chains. Then work a slip stitch into the chain space formed by the 3 chains on the left. There's no need to tighten the slip stitch in the oval shape. Continue all the way down following the chart to complete this row. Work 1 final slip stitch. Tighten it. Carry the yarn across for the next section at the end. That completes the second row of the shoulder parts. Now start the third row for the right shoulder. Locate the beginning position. Hook the yarn out from the wrong side. Then continue crocheting while referring to the pattern. Pay attention, as the stitch technique changes near the neckline. After completing this row, carry the yarn across. Continue with the fourth row. Once done, leave a yarn tail and fasten off. That concludes the right shoulder section. For the left shoulder, join the yarn at the corresponding position. Start by making a slip knot. Locate the starting point for the third row of the left shoulder. Draw the loop through to begin. Adjust the loop size. That completes joining the yarn. Continue crocheting back and forth. You can refer to the pattern to finish it. That concludes the small size right shoulder. The back piece has now been fully explained. Next, let's look at the front piece. It is divided into the right front piece and the left front piece. Each front piece consists of the body part, the chest piece, and the collar and shoulders. Start with the foundation chain. Work back and forth in rows. The method is similar to that of the back piece, just the stitch count is slightly different. Begin with the right front piece. When crocheting, be mindful to compare it with the back piece. If the dimension differs significantly, you'll need to adjust your tension and recrochet a few rows to avoid affecting the appearance of the finished product. After completing the body part of the right front piece, don't fasten off the yarn. Continue crocheting the first row of the chest piece. End with a chain. Then continue working back and forth in rows. The shoulder part sloping is formed by stitch pattern changes on one side. You need to carry the yarn across during the process. Fasten off the yarn after completion. Next, let's move on to the left front piece. The body part is similar to the right front piece, but the stitch technique is slightly different. Pay attention to using the corresponding color of yarn. While crocheting, you need to compare the edge of the left front piece with the right front piece. Adjust your crochet tension as needed. This ensures the finished product looks neat and attractive. After completing the body part, start a new foundation chain and work back and forth on the body section. At the end, crochet the shoulder parts on one side. Carry the yarn across during this process. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Everyone can refer to the pattern while crocheting. That concludes the explanation for the front pieces. Next, we will join the pieces together. First, attach the corresponding shoulder areas of the front and back pieces. Then, connect both sides of the body. When joining, always place the right sides together. Crochet on the wrong side. Below, Please watch as I demonstrate the exact method for attaching. Start with the shoulder attachment. Take the back piece and the right front piece. Here, I'll demonstrate using a sample. Align the areas that need to be joined. Place the right sides of the pieces together. Crochet on the wrong side. Join the yarn in the stitch or chain space at the far right edge of the front piece. Make sure to insert through both layers of fabric. Then work 3 chains. In the corresponding chain space, or stitch of both pieces, work a slip stitch together. Then work 3 chains. Skip 1 stitch. Work a slip stitch in the chain space. Chain 3. Continue joining the pieces using this method. The number of chains between slip stitches can be adjusted according to the actual situation. Just make sure the fabric piece stays flat after completing it. When you encounter carried yarn, wrap and crochet the carried yarn together. You can join this side using this method. After completing, secure with a chain. Break the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail inside the fabric. That completes the joining of one shoulder. Join the other shoulder in the same way. That concludes the explanation for joining the shoulders. Next, we'll join the sides of the body. The method is similar to how we joined the shoulders. Start from the beginning chain and join all the way to the edge of the chest piece. Leave space for the cuff position. Place the front and back pieces with right sides facing each other. Join on the wrong side. You can start by joining the yarn at the farthest right, starting chain of the back piece. Then pick up and crochet the corresponding stitches from both the front and back pieces. Make sure to insert through both layers of fabric as you go. Work 1 slip stitch and 3 chains to join the pieces together. The number of chains can be adjusted depending on your actual situation. Just ensure that the fabric stays flat. Follow this method to complete the joining for both sides. Once done, fasten off and weave in the ends. Join the other side using the same method. That concludes the explanation for joining all parts. Now let's learn how to crochet the cuffs. It is divided into the left cuff and the right cuff. Note that since the left front piece and the back piece are different colors. For the first round of the left cuff, you need to switch to a color that matches the corresponding area. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise at the cuff position. For the following rounds, you will need to switch colors. The only difference between the left and right cuffs is in the first round. The crocheting method for the remaining rounds is identical. A new stitch technique used for the cuffs is DC7 tog. Below, I will demonstrate using the left cuff as an example. Start with the first round. Take out the yarn that matches the color of the left front piece. Join the yarn at the joining point near the armpit on the chest piece. Then make a chain. This serves as the turning chain for the single crochet. It does not count as a stitch. Then work 1 single crochet at the joining point. Next, work 2 single crochets on the left double crochet. After completing this, move to the next row. Pick up the entire beginning chain and work 2 single crochets. For this round, you will be picking up the edge stitches and working 2 single crochets in each. You can follow this method until you reach the shoulder joining point. The sample should be worked to the corresponding position. At the back piece position, you need to change colors. On the right side of the joining point, in the chain space, first work an unclosed single crochet. Insert the hook and draw the loop through. The unclosed single crochet is now complete. Next, take the yarn in the same color as the back piece. Draw the yarn through. That completes 1 single crochet with a color change. Continue crocheting with the new yarn. In the chain space on the left side of the joining point, work another single crochet. Then continue to work single crochets along the edge using the new yarn. Leave about 5 centimeters of the previous yarn and fasten off. Finally, work 1 single crochet at the body joining point. After completing, be sure to check the stitch count. At the end, join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet. Fasten off the yarn. That completes the first round. Note that there is no color change on the first round of the right sleeve edge. Just follow the pattern to crochet. Now move on to the second round. Use the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn in the first stitch of the previous round. Chain 1 as the beginning chain. Then hook into the single crochets from the previous round, and work single crochets evenly. Crochet while weaving in the ends. End with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Fasten off the yarn. That completes the second round. Now move on to the third round. Use the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn in the first stitch of the previous round. Start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Then work 3 double crochets in the joining position. After completing, skip the next 3 stitches on the left side. Work 1 single crochet in the following stitch. Skip another 3 stitches. Crochet 7 double crochets. We will treat these 7 double crochets as one fan pattern. Then skip another 3 stitches on the left side. Work a single crochet in the 4th stitch. Mind that the stitches on the left side of the fan pattern are covered. Don't count them wrong. This round alternates between crocheting fan patterns and single crochets, always skipping 3 stitches in between. You can finish this round following this method. At the end, crochet 3 double crochets at the joining position. Finally, slip stitch into the beginning chain. Fasten off the yarn afterwards. That's how you complete the third round. Continue to the fourth round. Use the corresponding color of yarn to crochet. Pay attention. Here we are using 2 types of yarn. Take one end of each and combine them together for crocheting. For the sample, I will continue demonstrating with 1 strand of yarn. Find the first double crochet on the left side of the slip stitch from the previous round. Join the yarn on this double crochet. Note that this stitch has puckered. Pick up these 2 strands to join the yarn. Then work a DC7 tog. This is abbreviated as a cluster stitch. First, chain 2 as a beginning stitch. This counts as 1 unclosed double crochet. Next, from the left stitch, crochet 6 double crochets in sequence. including the beginning chain. In total, you will have 7 unclosed double crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. That's how you finish one cluster stitch. This is the stitch of the cluster pattern. Then work 6 chains. Skip the middle double crochet of the fan shape below. Then make a cluster stitch. Let me demonstrate it again. Starting from the next stitch, work 7 unclosed double crochets in sequence. Then yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. That completes another cluster stitch. For the remaining part of this round, work cluster stitches. Separate them with 6 chains. Everyone repeats this process to complete the round. Finally, slip stitch into the chain on the left side of the first cluster. It's a space like this one. Don't fasten off the yarn yet. That completes the 4th round. Now move on to the 5th round. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Work 3 double crochets into the spot where you slip the stitch. Then work a single crochet into the remaining double crochet stitch from round 3. Wrap it around the 6 chains from round 4. Next, work into the chain on the left side of the next cluster stitch. Work a fan pattern here. After completing it, work a single crochet into the remaining double crochet stitch from round 3. Make sure to wrap the corresponding 6 chains from round 4. For this round, work a fan pattern into each chain on the left side of the cluster stitches. Work a single crochet between each fan pattern. Everyone, refer to the pattern to complete this round. Finally, slip stitch into the beginning chain. Then fasten off the yarn. That completes the 5th round. Now let's move on to the 6th round. Use the corresponding color of yarn. Join the yarn in the spot where you slipped the stitch from the previous round. Then make 1 chain as the beginning chain. Work a single crochet into the same stitch. Then work 2 chains. Next, crochet a cluster pattern. After completing it, work 3 chains. We will consider the sequence after the single crochet as one group repeat. The rest of this round is just repeating this group. Pay attention to the different number of chains on either side of the single crochet while crocheting. Everyone, continue to refer to the pattern and finish crocheting. Finally, slip stitch into the first single crochet. Break the yarn. The 6th round is now completed. Continue with the 7th round. Take the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn at the insertion point in the previous round. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet. Match it to the single crochet stitch below. Work 3 double crochets in the space from the 2 chains on the left side. Work 1 double crochet in the stitch of the cluster pattern. Work 3 double crochets in the space from the 3 chains on the left side. After completing, work 1 double crochet in the left single crochet stitch. In this round, work 3 double crochets in each chain space. Work 1 double crochet in each cluster pattern and single crochet stitch. Everyone, refer to the pattern to complete this round. Finally, make a slip stitch in the beginning chain. Break the yarn. That completes the 7th round. Next, work the 8th round. Use the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn in the beginning chain. Then pick up the double crochet stitches from the previous round and work single crochets evenly. End with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Finally, cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail inside the fabric. Everyone, complete this round. That concludes the 8th round. The cuff edge has now been fully explained. Next, we'll learn about the overall front band. It includes the first edging, Front band. Bottom edge and the second edging. Start with the first edging. Since the left and right front pieces are different colors, you need to switch to yarn that matches the color of each corresponding area. Crochet all the way around the entire garment. The new stitch technique used here is SC2-in-1. Now, let's show. Take the yarn in the same color as the right front piece. Join the yarn at the starting point of the right front piece. Make a chain to begin. Then, work a SC2-in-1 at the joining position. That is, work 2 single crochets in the same stitch. This completes the SC2-in-1. Then continue working single crochets while referring to the pattern. The method is similar to the first round of the left cuff. After finishing the single crochets on the right front piece, check the stitch count. Then continue crocheting the single crochets around the back collar area. Change colors at the last stitch. Use the same color change technique as for the left cuff edge. Then continue crocheting with the new yarn. Work single crochets along the edge of the left front piece. At the starting chain edge of the left front piece, work a SC2-in-1. Remember to check the stitch count after completing each section of single crochets. When you reach any specific area, use the corresponding color yarn for that area to continue crocheting. For single crochets worked into the beginning chains, make sure to refer to the pattern while crocheting. If working on chains, pick up the chain spaces and work the corresponding number of single crochets. If at the stitch position, pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain and work them. Finally, slip stitch into the first single crochet, and by cutting the yarn, that concludes the explanation for the first edging. Next, let's learn about the front band. It is crocheted along the edge of the right front piece, as well as the neckline and the left front piece edge. The first few rows should be crocheted from right to left. The remaining rows are worked back and forth. During the process, you need to switch colors. The new stitch used for the front band is a cross group. Now, let's show. Start by crocheting the first row. Take the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn at the first stitch of the first edging. Then, chain 1 as the beginning chain. Work single crochets with the corresponding yarn evenly. Continue until you reach the edge of the left front piece. Cut the yarn at the end. That's it for the first row explanation. Now let's move on to the second row. Use the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn at the first stitch of the previous row. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then skip 1 single crochet stitch. Work 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Then make 1 chain. Finally, work another double crochet. We consider what we just crocheted in the same position as one group. Then skip 2 single crochets. Work another group. For the rest of this row, skip 2 stitches and work 1 group repeatedly. Continue crocheting while referring to the pattern. At the end, skip 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet in the last stitch. Do not fasten off the yarn. That completes the second row. Now let's move on to the third row. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Work 3 double crochets in the chain space on the left side. We will treat these 3 double crochets as 1 leaf. For the rest of this row, work 1 leaf in each chain space from the previous row. At the end, work 1 double crochet in the beginning chain. Pay attention to the stitches on both sides of the back neck are slightly different. You should refer to the pattern according to the position of the back piece and complete it. Do not cut the yarn at the end. That concludes the third row. Next, let's work on the fourth row. Chain 2 to start. Turn the work. Work a double crochet, then make a cross group. This is called a crossing stitch. Work 1 double crochet in the gap on the left side of the first leaf. Then work 1 chain. Return to the gap on the right side of the first leaf. Work 1 double crochet. Remember to wrap the double crochet on the left side. That completes 1 crossing stitch. Then work another crossing stitch. Work 1 double crochet in the gap on the left side of the next leaf. Work 1 chain. Return to the gap on the right side of the leaf and work 1 double crochet. That completes another crossing stitch. For the remaining part of this row, continue working crossing stitches in the gaps between the leaves. Pay attention to the stitches on both sides of the back collar. Refer to the pattern and complete the back piece according to its position. At the end, work 1/2 double crochet on the beginning chain. Do not fasten off the yarn. That concludes the fourth row. For the upcoming 5th and 6th rows, simply work back and forth using the same crocheting method as rows 3 and 4. Note that for row 5, skip the chains on both sides of the back neckline. After completing row 6, fasten off and weave in the ends. That completes the explanation of the front band. Next, we'll learn how to crochet the bottom edge. It is worked along the first edging of the front and back pieces, and the edges of the front band, from right to left. During this process, you will need to change colors. The crocheting method is similar to that of the cuff edge. Just join a new yarn at the beginning position for every row. You can complete the bottom edge by referring to the previous methods and following the pattern. That concludes the explanation of the bottom edge. Next, we'll work on the second edging. First, crochet in rounds along the already completed bottom edge and front band. Then, work from right to left along the front band. Start with the first round. Join the yarn in the last double crochet of the final row of the bottom edge. Then, work single crochets along the edge of the row. Continue along the last row of the front band, working single crochets into each stitch or chain space correspondingly. Then work single crochets into the beginning chains along the edge of each row on the bottom edge. Work 3 single crochets at each corner. Continue to work single crochets into the stitches of the last row of the bottom edge. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. End by breaking the yarn. That concludes the explanation of the first round. After completing it, move on to the second row. Join the yarn at the spot where the slip stitch was made in the previous round. After completing the beginning chain, work single crochets into each corresponding single crochet stitch from the previous round. Continue crocheting until you reach the corner on the left side. Finally, join with a slip stitch. Break and weave in the yarn. That concludes the explanation of the second edging. Next, we will learn about decorations. These include flowers, pearls, and bread buttons. Let's start by learning how to make the flowers. There are two types. They consist of motifs and centers. The motifs begin with the chain ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The only difference between the two flowers is their color schemes. The crochet techniques are identical. You can refer to the chart for the motif color combinations. Alternatively, you can pair colors based on your preference. Below, I will demonstrate using a color change flower. Start with a chain. Make sure to use the corresponding color yarn and the right size crochet hook. Here, we are crocheting with one strand of yarn. After completing the chains, slip stitch into the first chain. Pick up the top loop of the chains. Tighten it. That completes the starting chain. Move on to the first round. Chain 1 to begin. Next, work a single crochet into the chain ring. Chain 2. Continue by crocheting 4 single crochets into the chain ring. Separate them with 2 chains. After completing the 5th single crochet, work a half double crochet into the first single crochet. Fasten off at the end. That completes the first round. Note, for flowers that don't change colors, there's no need to fasten off the yarn. Now move on to the second round. Take the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn on the half double crochet. Then make 2 chains to start. This counts as 1 half double crochet. Next, insert your hook under the entire half double crochet and work 3 double crochets. Work another half double crochet. We consider what we've crocheted in the same stitch as 1 petal. Then slip stitch into the single crochet on the left side. In the next chain space, crochet a petal. Start with a half double crochet. Then work 3 double crochets. Finish with a half double crochet. The second petal is now complete. Complete the remaining petals in the same way. At the end, slip stitch into the single crochet. Cut the yarn and weave in the ends. That completes the second round. One motif is now finished. Crochet the remaining motifs using the same technique. Make sure you've crocheted all the motifs. The specific quantity and colors can be referenced from the finished product, or you can pair them according to your own preference. That concludes the explanation of the motifs. Next, we'll make the flower center. There are two types of flower centers. Both are sewn together using different beads. Now, let's show. First, sew the first type. Cut a 30 cm length of sewing thread. Thread the needle. Align both ends. Tie off at the ending. Then take a plain motif. Exit from any position in the first round. Leave the place where you tie the knot on the wrong side of the motif. Then take one 3 diamondis and one yellow wool bead. First, come out from the bottom of the 3 diamondis. Then sew on a yellow wool bead. And go back through the 3 diamondis. Then exit from any position in the first round of the motif. This way, the first type of flower center is sewn. Then take the flower and sew it onto any position on the right front piece or the right button band. Sew to secure in place. Tie off at the end. This way, the first type of flower is sewn. The remaining flowers of the first type are all sewn using this method. You can refer to the finished product for specific positions, or you can sew according to your own preference. Next, sew the second type. Cut a 40 cm piece of sewing thread. Thread it into the needle. Align both ends. Tie a knot at the end. Then take any one of the flowers with color changes. Exit from any position in the first round. Sew a red pearl at the center. Then go back through to the first round. Next, exit again from any single crochet in the first round. Sew on a yellow wool bead. Then sew a yellow wool bead on each single crochet in the first round. Finally, tie a knot on the wrong side. Next, sew the flowers with the second type of blossom center onto any position on the left front piece. Finally, tie a knot on the wrong side. That's it. The flowers with the second type of blossom center are now sewn on. Sew the rest of the second type of flowers using the same method. For specific positions, you can refer to the finished product. Alternatively, you can sew them according to your own preference. That concludes the explanation of the flowers. Next, we will sew on the pearls at the insertion points of each fan-shaped flower, on the cuffs and bottom edge. A pearl is sewn. Below, I will demonstrate using the cuff as an example. Cut a 50 cm segment of sewing thread. Thread the needle. Tie a knot at the end. Find any fan-shaped flower in the middle of the cuff. Draw through. Sew on a pearl. Then thread back to the inside of the cuff. Next, sew a pearl on the following fan-shaped flower. Here you can carry the yarn to the center position of the next fan-shaped flower, or you can directly exit from the center of the next fan-shaped flower. The sample chooses to carry the yarn to the corresponding position. Then sew a pearl. Sew the remaining pearls by repeating this process. If one segment of thread is not enough for sewing, tie off the thread on the wrong side. Then cut another segment and continue sewing. Everyone sews all the purls. That concludes the purl section. Next, sew the bread buttons. 3 bread buttons are sewn on the inside of the right front band and the bottom edge. The specific sewing positions here can be adjusted according to your preference. Cut a 30 cm piece of thread for sewing. Align both ends. Tie a knot at the end. Insert into the bottom edge. Then sew 1 bread button. Pay attention while sewing. Make sure the tail of the thread doesn't show on the right side. That completes sewing 1 bread button. For the remaining bread buttons, try on the garment. And then determine their positions before sewing. Everyone sews all the bread buttons. This concludes all the decorations. Up to this point, the entire process of making the garment has now been fully explained. If you have any unclear parts while crocheting, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.